Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you a 2011 FCS conference preview on the Southland Conference. We're going to take a look at this conference top to bottom. So let's start with the recruiting trail and see how well these teams recruited this past offseason. Best recruiting class in the Southland Conference. I'm giving it to the Demons of Northwestern State. They did a great job of addressing defensive backs in this signing class. The headliner of that group is athlete Zach Savoy. This guy is going to be a tremendous player, whether he plays a receiver or in the secondary. But you see right here at the quarterback position, he played in high school out of Shreveport. Explosive speed, so you may see him on the offensive side of football, but he's going to be a talented player nonetheless. Some key recruits to look out for. You look at Lamar's quarterback, Jeremy Johnson. This guy was a SMU signee, and he's going to be a tremendous player for the Cardinals. McNeese State was able to get an outstanding defensive lineman in Travis Manning. This guy does a great job of pushing the pocket from within and brings a lot of speed at the defensive tackle position. Nicholls State was able to get a safety linebacker hybrid in Brenton Bauman, a guy that's going to help out and already improving defense. You look at Sam Houston getting the talented tailback in Keyshawn Hill, a guy that has tremendous vision and runs with power despite him only being 185 pounds. Southeast was able to get an outstanding lineman in Chet Aber. You see right here at the right tackle, sealing off that edge, and he's going to be a tremendous player for the Lions. One of my favorite recruits in this class is Stevie Douglas, 6'5", 205. Guy has a sling for an arm and should be an outstanding talent for the Lumberjacks. Central Arkansas was able to get an outstanding tailback in Wesley Foster. This guy is probably going to see a lot of playing time as a true freshman because he's that type of player. Some Southland Conference superlatives, starting with the best QBs in the Southland. Central Arkansas gets my vote. Nathan Dick did an outstanding job last season, 12 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, but it was his accuracy and his ability to run and create plays outside the pocket which made him special. Best running backs in the Southland, I'm going with Sam Houston State. The Bearkats boast 3 talented tailbacks led by that guy right there, Tim Flanders, almost 1,000 yards and 13 touchdowns. But you look at backups, Richard Sincere and also Ryan Wilson, both guys are also very, very talented. Best receiving core in the Southland, I'm going with Stephen F. Austin. The Lumberjacks have a deep set of wide receivers led by Cordell Robinson and his 16 touchdowns. But you look at guys like Lott and Foster and Morgan, these guys are going to make breaking into the quarterback very easy. Best offensive line, you have to go back to the Bearkats. 2 guys really stand out, Travis Watson and also Daniel Jenkins. These guys are the reason why the running game is very solid, and there's a lot of optimism out there at Sam Houston State. Best defensive line, let's go back to Huntsville, Texas. Sam Houston State has a monstrous defensive front. They're led by their talented defensive tackle JT Cleveland, but also Ed DeCambray. These guys do a great job of stuffing the run and get a lot of push from within. Best linebacking core, I'm going with Northwestern State. The Demons boast 2 talented linebackers led by that guy right there in Derek Ross. But you also look at Lamont Simmons. Both guys really attack downhill and are aggressive once they get to the ball carrier, and there's a reason why the defense is promising in Nicholls, Louisiana. Best secondary, I think it's a tie. McNeese State has a very solid secondary despite their numbers. Darryl Jenkins is an outstanding safety, and also Malcolm Bronson, very talented player. And I love the way their cornerbacks come up and attack in the run game. Second, you have to go with Sam Houston State. They have an outstanding cornerback in Bookie Sneed and a talented safety in Jenkins, Kenneth Jenkins. So those secondaries stand out to me the most. Best special teams, boy, they're going to love me in Huntsville. Sam Houston State has the best punter in Matt Foster, 38 yards a kick, and also the best kicker in Miguel Antonio. But his returner, Brandon Klausner, this guy has over 25 yards of kickoff return and is a very explosive playmaker. Offensive MVP, I'm going with Lamar's wide receiver Marcus Jackson. His size is a matchup nightmare for defensive backs, and as Lamar's offense continues to improve, his numbers will skyrocket. I think he's poised for a breakout season. Defensive MVP, I'm going with Derrick Rose out of Northwestern State. This guy plays downhill, brings a lot of speed to the position, and reminds me a lot of Dexter Copley that came out of Appalachian State. Should be a future pro prospect. Of the year, I'm going with Central Arkansas's tailback Wesley Foster. When you bring this type of skill set to a team that needs a boost in the running game, you're going to see a lot of action as a true freshman. I think he's going to get the carries and show enough promise by the end of the season to get the bulk of the carries. Best pro prospect, I'm going with linebacker Devin DeCote out of Stephen F. Austin. When you have over 100 tackles, 8 TFLs, and 2 interceptions, that tells me you bring a lot of versatility. You can play weak side, strong side, and also in the middle. team on the rise in the Southland Conference. I'm taking the Colonels of Nicholls State. I like the way Charlie Stubbs has these guys headed. They're going in the right direction. They returned 18 starters off a team that, played well at the end of the season. So look for them to take the next step to respectability, especially with their second year in the system. Toughest schedule in the Southland Conference. I'm going with Southeastern Louisiana. The Lions face a murderous road slate at Tulane, at Southern Miss, McNeese, Northwestern, Central Arkansas, Stephen F. Austin, and on October 22nd they have to face a tough Texas State team. This is a real tough slate for the Lions. Now let's look at my Southland Conference predictions. Starting at number 8, Southeastern. Reasons for optimism. You have to love the running game. Sam Fairley and Zeke Jones provide a formidable duo, and they're deep at wide receiver led by Brandon Collins. Causes for concern. They lose a lot on defense. They lose their starting quarterback, and the offensive line loses a lot of talent. But what we will learn is that Southeastern, despite playing most of their games on the road, will be very competitive this season. Next up is Nicholls State. Reasons for optimism. I like the way the defense is headed. They're going to be solid this year. Very formidable group, especially on the defensive line and in the secondary. And the running game is going to be sound. Jesse Turner and quarterback LaQuentin Casson provide some spark in the backfield. Causes for concern. The passing game. Can Casson improve his passing? Can he find some reliable wideout targets? But what we'll learn is that despite a struggling passing game, Nicholls State will win a lot of games with their defense, especially on the road. Next up is Northwestern State. Reasons for optimism. You have to like their defense. They're very fast. They're aggressive. They can get to the quarterback and they can cause havoc in the passing game. Causes for concern. I have some questions about their offense. Can they rely on the pass game? Can they find a reliable running attack? We know quarterback Paul Harris is pretty good, but can they do more throughout the air to become well balanced? But what we will learn is that the schedule sets up nice for the Demons to make a run. At number 5, I have Lamar. Reasons for optimism. You have to love their defense, especially their linebackers, Asim Hicks and Jonathan Ekpe. Both guys are very sound tacklers, and wide receiver position is very strong for these guys. J.J. Hayes and Marcus Jackson, and quarterback Andre Bevel will improve. Causes for concern. The offensive line is a weak spot, and they have 0 running backs. Who's going to be the bell cow in the backfield? But what we will learn is that with the soft schedule, Lamar could be 5-0 by the time they reach Central Arkansas. Next is Stephen F. Austin. Reasons for optimism. Defensively, let's start with that. The linebackers and secondary you have to love. The secondary is led by Josh Aubrey, who should make All-American this season. And offensively, I love their wide receivers. All guys are explosive. Causes for concern. They have to replace Jeremy Moses, who's going to be the guy who's going to step up. And the defensive line lost a lot of key playmakers. They lost a lot of sacks with that group that departed. But what we will learn is that Stephen F. Austin, quarterback Dalton Williams, will make a lot of people ease up to the loss of Jeremy Moses. At number 3, I'm going with McNeese. Reasons for optimism. You have to like the secondary. These guys will do a great job this season patrolling the air. And also tailback Andre Anderson is an outstanding running back. Causes for concern. They lost a lot of talent on the defensive line and the linebacker, so they're going to take a step back defensively. And can quarterback Riley Dodge step in and be the leader that they need at the QB position? But what we will learn is that there's still enough talent to compete for a title for McNeese. Next up is the Central Arkansas Bears. Reasons for optimism. Quarterback Nathan Dick's leadership is phenomenal. This guy's going to have this team headed in the right direction. And defensively, they're led by 2 talented players in Frank Newsom at linebacker and Justin Love at safety, who is an interception machine. Causes for concern. Can someone step up and be a constant threat in the backfield? And they have to get more production out that passing game. But what we'll learn is that Central Arkansas has a real legitimate shot to win their first conference title. At number 1, I'm going with Sam Houston. Reasons for optimism. You have to love that they're very solid and they have the best O-line and D-line in the conference. And defensively, they have the best defense in the conference. Causes for concern. Can Brian Bell, the quarterback, take the next step in his progression? But what we will learn is that Sam Houston State has the schedule and the least amount of holes overall to win the conference title outright this season. For more FCS conference previews, visit footballgameplan.com/FCS or visit our YouTube channel at youtube.com/footballgameplan. And listen to the Football Game Plan radio show, which airs Saturdays 11 a.m. Eastern Time at blogtalkradio.com/footballgameplan.